How are we doing, everyone? I have a very, very special guest with me. Robyn is here today to help us talk about physical fitness. She is TPI certified, and as we talk about golf as being more of an athletic sport, we do want to work on that mechanical side of golf, but we also want to pay attention to that health and fitness side as well.
I work with golfers and runners, as well as anyone that's feeling that they need to move better. So I'm a physical therapist and certified through Titleist Performance Institute and the medical and fitness side of things. So when we're talking golf, we need to move well in order to play well.
Yes, and we're using every muscle in our body to play. So it's very important that we know our body and that we try to make improvements with our physical fitness, not just our golf game. So, ready to go, Robyn. You tell me what to do. What are we doing?
First thing we got to do is actually slip shoes off.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we're going to test how your body moves without anything under your feet.
Okay.
Because we want to see what your true ankle mobility is like and your balance without a shoes flatter. We don't want to do the assessment with something under there that you're going to move differently than how you would.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
The first one is, you know what? I didn't have you bring a club in here. The first thing I want you to do is just set up like you're going to hit the ball and just stay in that position for me. So what I'm looking at here is just your overall setup posture. I'm seeing, how your head, your shoulders, your hips all align in that posture.
Okay.
And just looking at tendency, if you tend to be a little bit more anterior tipped at your hips or a C posture, something like that. So I'd say your natural setup is a little bit toward that little tip forward, anterior posture. Or just that little bit of...
Meaning I'm more this way, or...
So when you're here, you tend to be a little bit tipped here. Okay. So that's the first thing I look at. So now I want you to stay in that posture, and I don't want you to change it at all, I want you to just go with
natural.
Your norm. And then I want you to stay there, but I'm going to take your club away. When I do, go ahead and fold your arms across your chest.
Okay.
All right. So from this position, I want to just see you try to move your pelvis. So you're going to try to now flatten your back down like this, arch your back like this.
So flattening it in,
out,
and
then keep going back and forth.
This is a real sore part of my body right now, too.
So do you have pain either way with it?
Not really pain. Nothing more than what I've been feeling.
For you to go under than it is to under.
Yes.
So, and that's what we look for. Some people actually have such a hard time going into what we call a posterior pelvic tilt that they kind of shake with it.
Right.
And that's just core strength. and how to do it. It's definitely easier for you to go into an anterior tilt than posterior. But you do it fairly well. There's definitely people that...
There's hope for me, Robyn. That's what you're saying?
There's always hope. But we see that that's a little bit the challenge for you, which makes sense with your setup.
Correct.
So let's just get you back in your setup posture.
Okay. Good. So once again, whenever there are breaks, you always want to start with that actual setup that's natural for the student to get a feel for...
their movement from that position.
And I do that actually, so there.
Okay. And then again, just go ahead and cross your arms over your chest. And then now we're going to look at how well you separate your upper body from your lower body. So the first thing I want you to try is to rotate your pelvis without moving your upper body. Okay, keep going. And now I'm going to give you a little bit of stability here. And just see if you're able to go a little bit further, if it's a little bit easier. And then now relax. Relax again. Go ahead and come back up. So with that, when you did it, as you rotated, you do get a little bit of movement up here. And so that's, again, just kind of how the core is working. And that's, a lot of people have a hard time, for sure, with the hips versus upper body of really being able to completely separate, stay completely stable through here. It's pretty good.
Now, is that a sign of aging, too? Or like, could I have done it better 10 years ago?
It depends.
Okay.
Because flexibility can play a role in it. So if somebody's super tight through their hips, they're not going to be able to have much separation, right?
Okay.
So further along, when I do a couple other tests, that's going to tell me the why. Right now, I just know that, okay, it could be a little bit better, but I don't know why you can't do it, because it can be either core and stability and just muscle coordination, or it could be flexibility playing a role. And I can make a good guess right now, but you truly don't know until we do a couple other things.
This sounds like my golf lesson. I don't make conclusions early either.
The title is Assess, Don't Guess. And so we're really like breaking down for everyone, you know, what's the true reason they can't do it, not just saying, oh, you can't do it, and I'm going to throw 5 exercises that may or may not help.
Right, that makes sense.
Okay, go ahead and cross over again. And now what I want you to do is rotate, and rotate like you're gonna hit the golf ball versus like straight, but try not to move your hips at all. Okay, so just back and forth, nice both directions.
Feels like I'm more stable with the lower half, moving the upper half.
This is actually much better for you.
Which ironically, I swing the golf club this way, mentally. Meaning I'm working more lever system, upper shoulders than actually engaging the lower body. Something that I did to help me hit the ball more consistently, being very flexible. And a lot of times for me, playing golf and watching Tiger, my hips would flare out so much, so I didn't trust this moving.
Too much.
Correct.
Yeah. So now, do that again. Go ahead and go both ways again.
I feel very stable in the lower half.
Now I'll keep going, and now I'm going to give you some stability here as you're going. So with this, some people have the ability to only move so far. Then once you provide stability down below, then they get way more
movement.
Motion. And then that tells us right away, like, okay, it's a stability problem versus a mobility problem, right? So if you could only go like this, it looks like, oh, you're really tight, but once it gave mobility, but you have good mobility both ways. And then the other thing I'm looking at with that is sometimes when you turn one way, people get just a little rotation with the hip, but they're totally stable on the other side. So I'm just looking for multiple things here. So you get...
I feel very consistent on both sides.
Yeah, when you go really far, you start to turn with that hip. But some of that is probably just what you're used to doing with your golf swing. Because we don't stay totally stable here, but if you try to really ground your feet in the ground, don't move that hip whatsoever, can it be equal? So now try it again. So see,
so if I go,
feel how that knee wants to come in a little. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. So you have a much better ability to separate your upper body from your lower body here versus lower body from upper body, and that's a little bit more core up, ground up.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
That's what I'm feeling.